Disneyland Paris was incredible, but oh my god, did it destroy our bank accounts. We tracked basically everything we spent. The hotel, Eurostar, food, merch, fast passes we definitely didn't need, and even all the random coffees and snacks. And after all the cashback, refunds and compensation, our 3-night Disneyland Paris trip from the UK still came to over £2,000. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what we spent, where we massively overspent, and what we'd do differently next time. The trip actually started pretty smoothly. My mum kindly took us to Northampton Station, which immediately saved us some money. Because trust me, we were going to need all the help we could financially get on this trip. Our return train tickets to London cost £54.80 through TrainPal using a rail card, and we actually got a little bit of cash back too, which we'll come on to later. Once we got to Euston, we walked over to St Pancras because we'd arrived ridiculously early, which was our first financial mistake. Because somehow a Shake Shack and Starbucks before we'd even left the UK came to over £54. At this point, we should have realised how this trip was going to go. Our Eurostar was supposed to leave at 6:01pm and arrive in Paris at 9:24pm, but that absolutely did not happen. We ended up with about a 90-minute delay. Now thankfully, we weren't actually going into the parks that night anyway, so it didn't ruin our plans. But by the time we finally got to Gare du Nord, it was nearly 11pm, and we were exhausted. The Eurostar itself originally cost £360, but through a workplace benefit scheme, I managed to get a voucher for £342 instead, and because of the delay, we should also be getting £47.50 back in compensation, which definitely softens the pain a little bit. At this point though, we still had to navigate Paris public transport, half asleep, carrying a suitcase and our bags. The RER actually wasn't too difficult once we figured that out. We got the RER B to Le Havre, and then the RER A to Disneyland, which is Marne-Laval-Chessy. I've probably butchered that. The tickets and the reloadable cards that you have to buy with the tickets came to about €14 total, including our return journey, which honestly wasn't too bad at all. Finally got to Marne-Laval-Chessy at about midnight. So for this trip, we stayed at Disney's Hotel Cheyenne for 3 nights. Now, weirdly, Disney's pricing makes absolutely 0 sense. At one point, I looked at doing one less night, and somehow it was actually more expensive. We ended up paying £672.81 for the hotel, but through top cashback, we should be getting £49.75 back eventually. For the park tickets, we bought data tickets separately through attraction tickets because it worked out cheaper than booking a full Disney package. That cost £399.74 for both parks across Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Having the late Eurostar home was so worth it because we still got basically a full final day in the parks, so we could really make the most of it. What was also good about the deal with attraction tickets is that they had a 10 free prints offer with their partner Stampix. It's completely separate to ride photos or anything like that, but you can upload basically pictures you took on your camera roll maybe, or any digital photos that you bought from Disney, and they will send them to you for free. There's no catch. I've already ordered mine. They're on the way to me as I'm speaking, and yeah, completely free. So that's a nice incentive. Now let's move on to the section where Disney slowly emptied our wallets, and honestly this is where we could have been much smarter financially. First of all, Starbucks. We bought so much Starbucks. Disney absolutely has cheaper coffee options, but apparently we decided we were luxury influencers for 3 days. Then there was the merch. Disney ears, obligatory. Key rings, needed. Toy Story mugs, obviously essential to survival. And then came Premier Access, which is genuinely dangerous because it's so easy to buy with Apple Pay. You tell yourself it's only one fast pass, and then suddenly you've spent about €100 avoiding queues you probably had time to stand in anyway. The funniest disaster of the whole trip happened on Tuesday night. We'd bought Premier Access for Big Thunder Mountain for around 9:20pm. My girlfriend's feet were absolutely destroyed at this point, so we thought perfect, one final easy ride. We get to the queue and it literally breaks down right in front of us. Now, when this happens, Disney will send you a list of rides that you can use it on, but it has to be in the same day. So it's getting late. The parks close at 10:40. Naturally, the option would have been Tower of Terror. That's all the way in the other park. And at this point, my girlfriend was basically limping across Disneyland Paris. So we decided on Buzz Lightyear, as it's in the same park and it will be near where we want to watch the fireworks anyway. We get to Buzz Lightyear, guess what? Broken down. So we thought, let's use it on Autopia. It's a ride we probably won't go on otherwise. And it was really fun when we got on it, but probably the worst ride imaginable to waste Premier Access on, because you merge with the standby queue almost immediately. So after adding everything up, the hotel, tickets, Eurostar, food, transport, merch, Starbucks addiction, fast passes, and all the random little purchases, the total cost of our Disneyland Paris trip came to roughly £2,224. Now, after cashback and our Eurostar compensation, that should come down to around £2,123 total, which works out at just over £1,060 each. For Disney, that's probably not even that outrageous. And I don't regret spending a single penny or cent of that money. I would do that trip again 10 times over. It was just the most magical time. I'm 25. I honestly felt like I was about 5 again. It's amazing what that place does to you. Right, so where could we have saved money? Well, first of all, Starbucks absolutely rinsed us. I'm sure the coffee in the park still would have been overpriced anyway, but possibly each round of coffee we bought may have saved €4, and that definitely adds up probably to about 24 euros. Premier Access is also very addictive. It's one of those things where every individual purchase feels reasonable until you realise you've spent triple digits skipping queues. The Royal Pub was massively overpriced too, compared to somewhere like Earl of Sandwich, which we actually really liked. The Royal Pub just was an overpriced, glorified ready meal. Not even a glorified ready meal, it was just a ready meal. And honestly, next time I'd love to try Disneyland Paris on an extreme budget. Maybe staying off-site, cutting down the premium extras and seeing just how cheap you can realistically do the full trip from the UK. But would that still be as magical? Who knows? Hi, dude.